After 5 long years, a heartwarming discovery revealed the missing heiress hidden in a dumpster. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting an orange glow over Maplewood, Iowa. Locals were winding down from their day, but for Sarah, the hectic diner was still bustling as the evening rush pushed through, plates clattering, laughter ringing. She poured coffee and flipped pancakes, her mind always a step ahead, calculating bills versus groceries. Watching her 11-year-old daughter Emma, who sat at a counter booth doing homework, brought a flicker of hope. Emma was bright, kind, and full of dreams that shone brighter than the diner's neon sign. Yet, Sarah knew the shadows of their financial struggles loomed large, especially after the relentless bullying Emma faced at school. The whispers of classmates were like knives, each word a reminder of the hand-me-down clothes that felt more like chains. Then came that fateful evening, a discovery that would change everything. With shadows stretching across the diner's parking lot, Sarah stepped outside to take out the trash. What she found in the dumpster made her heart race. A frail girl lay there, battered and bruised, her frightened eyes huge and wide. The sheer horror of the situation gripped Sarah as she rushed over, her heart pounding like a drum. "Are you all right?" Sarah knelt beside the girl, whose doll-like features were marred by dirt and tears. "Lily," the girl whispered with a cracked voice, as if the name held the weight of the world. Lily Prescott, the very name sent shockwaves through Sarah. The town had mourned for 5 long years, a wealthy heiress vanished without a trace, leaving a gaping hole in Maplewood's heart. Questions flooded Sarah's mind. Could this really be the girl everyone had been searching for? Inside the diner, everything felt surreal. Emma stepped out, concerned about the commotion, and gasped at the sight of the girl. In an instant, the air thickened with emotion. Emma took a tentative step forward, her youthful spirit bursting through fear. They embraced, sharing wild laughter and whispered secrets in a world where struggles felt far away. But soon, a stark reminder of their realities crashed upon them, the richness of Lily's past starkly contrasting with Sarah and Emma's daily battles. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As news of Lily's return spread through town, the atmosphere turned electric. Yet skepticism gripped many, clinging to their past perceptions, reluctant to shift their view on wealth and status. Sarah stepped into the fray, her voice rising above the murmurs as she painted vivid stories of genuine hardship. Standing at the community center, her plea for justice echoed within the walls as emotions poured out, lifting heavy hearts and sparking reluctant breakthroughs to old divisions. But just when the tide seemed to shift, a shocking revelation emerged. A powerful figure from town had the secrets to unravel everything they thought they knew. Tension rippled through the crowd, leaving Sarah's heart in turmoil. At that moment, the real question surfaced: would they choose the path of compassion and unity, or would fear and prejudice bind them to their past? The room held its breath, ready for the impending storm of truths to unfold. The tension in the community center was palpable, like the charged air before a summer storm. Eyes turned to the figure at the back of the room, Mr. Thompson, a wealthy businessman who seemed to loom large in both stature and reputation. He had always been the type who played by his own rules, whispering sweet words of generosity while wielding immense power behind the curtain. "Let me make one thing clear," he started, his voice cutting through the anxious murmurs. "What you think you know about Lily Prescott is a fairy tale. The truth is messier, darker." Gasps filled the room. Sarah's heart raced as she clutched Emma's hand tightly. They exchanged a look filled with uncertainty, wonder, and a flicker of fear. This was the moment they had loomed toward, a revelation that could shatter the fragile peace they had built since finding Lily. Lily wasn't just lost, Mr. Thompson continued, his tone dripping with condescension. She left everything behind on her own accord. There are reasons one might choose a life less than glamorous. Whispers broke out, a mix of disbelief and anger. Many could not fathom the idea that Lily, the girl who had become a symbol of hope, could have any desire to abandon her life. Sarah stood up. She wasn't one to hide behind the shadows of doubt. "That's not the Lily we found," she shouted, the fire in her voice echoing through the hall. "This girl was hurt. She didn't choose to be alone. She was hiding, and she needs our support, not our judgment." But Mr. Thompson's face hardened. "What you all fail to realize is that for someone like Lily, hardship is a relative term. The minute you assume she is a victim is the moment you fail her." The swell of emotions overwhelmed Sarah. How dare he twist Lily's suffering for his narrative? She felt the pulse of the crowd, hearts beating in shared fear and anger. Emma squeezed her hand tighter, her young face pushing through innocence into the harsh brightness of the world. Sarah glanced down, seeing tears glisten in her daughter's wide eyes. Emma had held on to the idea that Lily was going to rescue them from their struggles. But now, that belief felt fragile. "Enough." The voice rang out from the back. It was Mary Ellis, the mayor, who took a step forward, her previous composure cracking under the weight of the moment. "We need to focus on what's truly important. We must support Lily, not tear her down." A murmur of agreement rolled through the crowd, creating a flicker of hope. Yet, Mr. Thompson's smirk only deepened. "We shall see what the courts decide. Life's deeper truths can't be overlooked." As he left the room, a chill filled the space where warmth and community once thrived. The crowd began to disperse, voices fading into anxiety-filled murmurs about trust and betrayal. With her heart shaking, Sarah turned to Lily, who still stood near the door, a hint of fear in her gaze. "We'll figure this out," Sarah assured her, though uncertainty resided in her own chest. They were in deep waters now, and the currents threatened to pull them under. Emma looked up at Lily, determination replacing fear in her eyes. "You won't be alone anymore. We'll make them see." As the door swung shut behind Mr. Thompson, Sarah's heart sank deeper into concern. She felt a weighty decision looming, one that would either bind them together or pull them apart. What secrets did Mr. Thompson possess that could change everything? The shadow of doubt hung thick, weaving into the fabric of their lives. They had started to unveil a hidden past, but what lay beneath could either free them or trap them forever. Sarah's resolve hardened. She could no longer ignore the issues that intertwined their lives. With that spark of courage, she turned to the community, ready to rally once more. But what awaited her wasn't just the weight of Lily's past, it was the threat of their future. Would they come together, or would the past continue to haunt them, tearing apart everything they'd fought to build? The room felt smaller now, the murmurs haunting. Sarah took a deep breath, grappling with the weight of Mr. Thompson's words. She could feel the eyes of the community on her, eyes filled with questions, doubts, and a mix of hope and fear. She had believed in Lily, believed in the goodness of people, and now everything seemed to waver like a candle in an impending wind. "Okay, listen up." She raised her voice, trying to anchor the straying thoughts of the crowd. "We can't let one man's version of Lily's story define who she really is. We found her. She is here." Cries of agreement erupted, a chorus of voices that reminded her of the strength their community had always possessed. But even where hope glimmered, she sensed a lurking doubt. It wasn't enough to simply rally. They needed evidence, a collective narrative to counter Mr. Thompson's accusations. "Lily needs our help," Emma piped up, her eyes shining with fierce determination untainted by the world's bitterness. Sarah looked down at her daughter, pride meeting worry. "She doesn't just need sympathy, she needs a team." "Exactly." Mary Ellis interjected, stepping closer. "We need to gather information, to offer our support in a way that reshapes the conversation. There's more to Lily than what he revealed, and we need to show that." Sarah nodded, feeling the warmth of their shared purpose. But unease trickled in at the thought of what Lily might have to share. She's been through more than we realized. What if her truth is as dark as Mr. Thompson suggested? Then we stand by her. Emma's small voice rang out again, steady like a heartbeat. No matter what. The community center began to buzz with plans and ideas, people gathering in small circles, strategizing. They would need to launch a campaign to support Lily, to counteract the damage done by Mr. Thompson. Sarah felt the energy feed into her, lifting her spirits despite the heaviness of the discussion. As they brainstormed, the door creaked open unexpectedly, and they turned to see Lily step tentatively into the room. Her eyes darted around, uncertainty mingling with a flicker of hope at seeing an audience ready to stand for her. Lily. Sarah called, rushing toward her. Come here. We're just talking about how to help you. Lily hesitated, then moved forward. I heard everything. Her voice trembled, filled with fear and the ache of vulnerability. Sarah felt her heart constrict. She couldn't imagine what going through that entry had felt like for Lily. Lily, you don't have to share anything you don't want to, Sarah said softly, placing a comforting hand on her arm. Lily looked at the group, at the expectant faces full of encouragement. But I want you to know me. I don't want to be seen as a victim, but as someone who is trying to find light again. Every word sent shivers down Sarah's spine. Lily's bravery was a beacon, nudging them all to be brave as well. Then let us find that light together, Sarah encouraged, her voice thick with emotion. If we all support you, Emma chimed in, we can rewrite the story. The rush of camaraderie filled the air. But as they moved closer, Sarah couldn't shake a feeling deep inside. Was this the courage they needed, or merely a bandage over wounds that cut deeper than they could see? As they locked eyes with Lily, ready to face whatever came next, a question hung unspoken in the air: what truths would they uncover, and would they be ready for what those truths might reveal? Lily took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the room wrap around her like a blanket. The stares of the community felt different now, less like scrutiny and more like a welcoming embrace. But that comfort was mingled with apprehension. Thank you for believing in me. Her voice was barely above a whisper, but it cut through the buzzing conversation. Heads turned, eyes focused. I've been lost and afraid for so long. I don't even know where to begin. Just be you, Emma said, stepping forward with youthful zest, her small stature imposing in the moment. We want to hear what you have to say. A glimmer of hope flickered in Lily's eyes as she gazed at Emma. It's hard for me to talk about everything. There are things I've kept inside because I was scared. Scared of being seen as broken. Every one of us has shadows, Mary Ellis said gently, her tone comforting. There's no shame in your story, Lily. We're here to make sure it's told with love. Feeling the warmth of their encouragement, Lily nodded slowly. I was taken. It felt like I was in a nightmare that never ended. I thought I'd never see home again. She looked down, shame creeping in. I made choices that led me further away from who I was. Tears brimmed in Sarah's eyes. She could sense the weight of the memories clouding Lily's spirit. But you're back now. That's what matters. Each moment since I came back, Lily continued, her voice trembling, I've learned something new about myself. I've changed. She took a step closer, almost pleading with them through her glance. I don't want pity. I want understanding. I'm still here, but parts of me feel lost. As she spoke, the room grew quiet, the bustling energy morphing into a fragile stillness. People listened, hanging on her every word. The scars of her experience hung heavy in the air, but beneath it, something else brewed a burgeoning strength. What if we wrote a letter to the editor? Someone called from the back, their voice cutting through the silence. Tell your story, Lily. Show the world you're more than what has happened. Lily's brow furrowed, a flicker of fear crossing her face. I don't think I'm ready for that. What if it just makes it worse? Maybe, Sarah said, stepping forward again. But what if it helps others heal too? What if your courage inspires someone else who feels trapped? Lily's breath quickened. This idea felt huge. Could her truth, something that had felt like shame for so long, really shine light in the darkness for others? A sense of resolve crept in. Okay. I'll try. The relief in the room was palpable. People began to nod, smiles emerging like the first rays of sunlight breaking through a cloudy sky. We could host events, gatherings, Emma offered excitedly. We can bring the community together to understand what you've been through, to support you. And as we share your story, Mary added, we wear it proudly, like a badge of honor. As plans unfurled, hope danced in the air. But as Sarah watched Lily, she couldn't ignore a gnawing worry in her gut. Would this newfound voice lead to healing, or would it open doors to more pain? They were stepping into a wild unknown, a path paved with revelations that could cut even deeper. Just then, the flickering overhead light caught Lily's eye, and she turned, her face pale. What if Mr. Thompson isn't done? What if he comes back? The room fell silent again, the gravity of her words sinking in. As they lingered on that thought, Sarah's heart raced. Beneath their plans for light, shadows loomed darker than any of them had anticipated. What other secrets lay beneath the surface, and could they truly endure whatever truth awaited them ahead? Lily felt the chill trickle down her spine at the mere mention of Mr. Thompson. It was a name that held the power to unravel everything she had just started to build. She scanned the faces around her, searching for reassurance, but instead, she saw a kaleidoscope of emotions: fear, concern, determination. It's okay, Lily, Emma said softly, breaking the tension. We're here together, remember? You're not alone in this. The words hung like a fragile thread in the air. Lily nodded, but uncertainty clung tightly to her heart. Would it ever truly be okay? The thought of Mr. Thompson brought back flashes of dark moments that replayed in her mind like a broken record. Let us focus on what we can control, Mary suggested, her voice calm and steady. Telling your story gives you a chance to reclaim your narrative. We won't let anyone take that from you. But what if it just brings him back? Lily whispered, her voice quivering. What if he sees this movement as a challenge? Sarah stepped closer, her hands clasped tightly in front of her. If we shine a light on what he did, it takes away his power. You have the strength to face this, Lily. You've survived so much already. Looking into Sarah's eyes, Lily found a flicker of bravery. With her friend standing beside her, she could almost believe it. The notion of standing up, of showing others that her story wasn't one of defeat, but rather of survival, cracked the shell of fear she had built around herself. What about the letters? Lily asked, her voice steadier now. If we're going to do this, I want my voice to echo loud and clear. Yes. Emma exclaimed, her eyes bright with excitement. That's the spirit. We can gather stories from others too. It will be a collective voice. No more shadows. The energy in the room shifted. Instead of dread, a current of empowerment surged among them. They began brainstorming ways to share Lily's story while creating a community of voices unified against darkness. As ideas flowed, laughter erupted over the challenges of organizing an event. They drew plans for banners, tables filled with stories, and tears of joy mingled with anxious smiles. But underneath that joy, a shared anxiety lingered. What if they stepped too far into the light? Then a voice piped up. What if we started with an art exhibit? It was a quiet man named Jacob, who had often been in the background until now. We could showcase artworks that represent each person's journey, including yours, Lily. Art speaks when words fail. Wow, Lily said, taken aback. That would be beautiful. We can make it a safe space, Sarah added. Where people can freely express how they feel, no judgments, just support. Lily's heart thrummed with newfound hope. Her shadows might still lurk, but they were not her sole-defining feature. With every plan they laid out, a thread of confidence started weaving its way through her. Just as laughter began to fill the air again, a sudden noise shattered the moment. The unmistakable sound of shattering glass echoed from outside. Everyone paused, their breaths hitching in unison. Anxiety wrapped around them like a cold fog. What was happening? Should we check? Emma whispered, the color draining from her cheeks. Before anyone could answer, a figure appeared at the doorway, silhouetted against the fading light. Shadows danced about him, and for an agonizing moment, Lily's heart hammered in her chest. Was it him? Who is there? She called out, her voice trembling but vivid, reflecting her mingled fear and resolve. The figure stepped forward, a familiar face emerging from the shadows. It's me, came the familiar voice, one she hadn't expected to hear again. As Lily's heart raced, the air became thick with questions. Who had just entered with such power to shift the atmosphere? And could they truly confront whatever revelations awaited them, as the truth slowly unraveled itself? Lily's pulse quickened as the figure stepped into the light. Her heart sank and soared at the same time, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. Jake. She whispered, her voice barely rising above the noise of her heartbeat. She hadn't seen him in years. Jake, her childhood friend, wore a nervous smile. I came as soon as I heard, he said, his voice steady but unsure. I wanted to see you to talk. Talk. Lily echoed, her mind racing. The last time they had shared a conversation, they had been innocent kids dreaming about growing up and leaving their small town behind. But now, their paths had been irrevocably altered by past shadows. 2 steps forward, and suddenly, she was enveloped in all those memories, the laughter, the secrets, the fierce loyalty that had once connected them so deeply. But now, uncertainty clouded everything. What are you doing here? Emma asked, her tone protective. Jake hesitated, glancing around at the group. I heard about everything that happened with Mr. Thompson. I wanted to make sure Lily's okay. Make sure I'm okay? Lily repeated, feeling a small rush of anger. You don't know a thing. I'm sorry, he backpedaled, his gaze falling to the floor. I didn't mean to offend. When I saw what you were trying to do, I felt like I had to help. For a moment, the room fell silent, tension thick and poisonous. The comforting warmth of her friends had suddenly turned colder, their faces juggling curiosity with skepticism as they glanced at Jake. Help how? Mary finally asked, crossing her arms. Jake swallowed hard, pushing through the weight of their caution. Look, I know this sounds crazy, but I've connected with some people who could assist with your art exhibit. They're passionate about bringing awareness to stories like Lily's. Hope flickered, battling the doubt that threatened to overwhelm her. But do you really understand what this is about? It's not just art, we're confronting a monster. I get it, Lily. He stepped closer, sincerity etched into his expression, his voice more determined now. I've seen what has become of our town since I left. People are hurting, and it's time we stand up together. You're not just telling your story, you're giving everyone else permission to share theirs. His words seemed to resonate, igniting a spark among her friends. There was something in his voice, a familiar warmth that reminded her of why they had once been inseparable. You really believe that? She asked hesitantly. Absolutely, he said, a newfound fire lighting his eyes. Lily felt a cacophony of emotions battling inside her. Fear and betrayal tangled with hope and reawakening. Could she trust Jake again, the boy who had left without saying goodbye, who had been a part of her past, but not her present? Just then, the sound of footsteps echoed outside, followed by a commotion. A chilling shudder ran through the room. What else is going on? Sarah muttered, glancing towards the door. Before anyone could respond, the door swung open again. Bursting into the dim light was another figure, this time, not a childhood friend but an older man in a long coat. His eyes locked onto Lily's with a piercing intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. Lily, the man announced, his voice gruff and urgent. You need to come with me. Now. Her heart dropped. Who was he? And what did he want with her? In that moment, uncertainty washed over her, blending seamlessly with the undercurrents of fear and hope. Could they truly confront whatever awaited them, and could she trust the people she'd once counted on as friends? With the night thickening like a cloak around them, Lily's mind raced, a multitude of questions swirling within. What were the answers she was about to uncover, and would they bring light or more shadows into her life? As she stepped toward the man, not knowing what lay ahead, one thought resonated loud and clear: she was no longer the scared girl hiding in the dark. She was ready to face whatever came next, even if it was terrifying. The urgency in the man's voice cut through the air like a knife, sending a ripple of tension through the group. Lily hesitated, glancing back at her friends. Their faces were a mix of confusion and concern. She felt torn between the familiar comfort of her past and the shrouded mystery that stood before her. "Who are you?" Lily asked, forcing herself to meet the man's unsettling gaze. He exuded an intensity she couldn't quite decipher. "I can't explain here," he replied, impatience creeping into his tone. "But I promise it's crucial. Your safety depends on it." "Lily, wait." Jake stepped forward, his brows furrowed with the kind of worry only a true friend could muster. "You don't know this guy. What if it's some sort of trap?" With a deep breath, Lily fought against the rising tide of fear inside her. She had faced monsters before, real ones, not just the metaphorical kind. But could she face this new one alone? Or was it time to trust again, to let someone back in? "I can handle myself, Jake," she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "If he wanted to hurt me, the time would be now, right?" "That's not the point," he argued, concern heavy in his voice. "You don't know what he's involved in." Behind her, Emma whispered, "What do we do, Lil?" "Stay here." "I'll be okay," Lily said, her heart racing. Without waiting for a response, she turned her back on the protective circle of her friends and faced the man fully. "Fine. I'll go with you," she said, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. He nodded, relief shining briefly in his eyes. "We don't have much time." The man gestured for her to follow as he stepped into the chilly air outside, their breaths turning to fog. As they walked, he glanced back once. "I know this is sudden and shocking. But the truth is, there is something I need to show you about your family." Lily's stomach knotted. About her family? The mere thought sent her spiraling into a whirlwind of memories: her parents, their reassuring smiles, and the weight of loss that still pressed down on her heart. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice a whisper, nearly snatched away by the wind. "Just trust me," he repeated, urgency lining his tone. "You'll understand soon." They rounded a corner, entering an alley that felt darker and heavier than the rest of the streets. "What happened to them? Where are they?" The questions poured out of her like an unchecked fountain. Every word felt weighted with longing and desperation. "Not here." He stopped suddenly, pushing open a door that creaked as it revealed a dimly lit room. Inside, scattered papers and the scent of dust added to the air of decay. "We need to be somewhere safe." The door closed behind them, muffling the noise of the outside world. Her heart thudded as the man flicked on a light, revealing a collection of old photographs lining the walls. The faint glimmer of familiar faces sparked recognition deep within her. "Your past is more complicated than you know," he said, moving towards a particular photo, his finger tracing the outline of a young girl, Lily herself. "And time is running out to uncover the truth." A sense of dread mixed with curiosity surged through her chest. What could possibly be so monumental? Had she been kept in the dark all this time? Forcing herself to step closer, she could feel an electric charge in the air. "What are you trying to tell me?" she asked, barely able to keep her voice steady. With a look that held both urgency and a hint of compassion, the man responded, "You'll find out soon enough. But it changes everything you thought you knew." In that moment, dread gnawed at the edges of her anticipation. What could this truth be that would unravel her whole reality? As she looked into the photographs and felt the shattering of her old beliefs, Lily realized this was just the beginning. But was she ready for the truth, no matter how chaotic it might be? Only time would tell. The man stepped away from the wall of photographs, his expression serious as he pulled another item from his coat, a small, weathered envelope. He held it out to Lily with a steady hand. "This is for you. It will explain everything." Lily eyed the envelope suspiciously. Crumpled and stained, its surface bore the marks of age, much like the photographs. "What is it?" she asked, her mind racing with possibilities. "Just open it," he urged, taking a step back as if giving her space to gather herself. With trembling fingers, she reached for the envelope, half of her longing to learn the secrets it held, the other half terrified of what those secrets could mean. She hesitated, taking a deep breath to calm her raging thoughts, then sliced open the flap and pulled out a folded piece of paper. The moment she unfolded it, a wave of nostalgia washed over her as she recognized her mother's handwriting. It spoke of love, family, and a promise that felt distant but familiar, echoing through the years of her loss. Tears stung at her eyes as she read snippets. "Lily, if you're reading this, it means the time has come. Read it aloud," the man urged softly, watching her closely. Clearing her throat, she began to read the words that felt like an ethereal connection to her past. "My precious Lily, if you are reading this and you have questions, it's because we could not be there for you. The world is not what it seems, and neither are we." Her heart raced, a storm of emotions swirling inside. The memories of her family were being reconstructed, repurposed in her mind. Why had they left her? What peril were they facing? "Finish it," he prompted, urgency creeping back into his tone. Her voice wavered as she continued, "We loved you more than anything and made sacrifices to keep you safe. You are far more important than you realize." Each line felt like a thread pulling her deeper into a tangled web of hidden truths. When she reached the end, barely able to process the weight of the letter, she looked up at the man, desperately searching for answers. "What does this mean? What did they want to protect me from?" He took a step closer, the air shifting between them. "They're not just missing, Lily. They're part of something much larger." He paused, letting his words hang heavy. "They were forced to disappear for your protection. You come from a lineage full of secrets, and those secrets have been hunting you your whole life." Panic bubbled inside her. "Hunting me? Why? What could I possibly be involved in?" "The truth," he said emphatically, "about your true identity, and the powers that come with it. Others are searching for you, and they will not stop until they find you." The room spun slightly as Lily grappled with this new reality. A sense of dread pooled in her stomach. She could feel the past mixing with her present in a way she couldn't control. "What powers? What do you mean?" Without answering her directly, he walked to a nearby window and peeked out. "I shouldn't have brought you here. They could track you now that I've revealed myself." He turned back to her, eyes wide with urgency. "We need to leave, and we need to do it now." Lily's breath came quick as she processed what he was saying. Her family, her identity, it was not just about the past anymore. This was about survival. Trust became a dangerous game, one she wasn't sure she could play, yet something inside her whispered that this was her chance to find out who she truly was. "Where are we going?" she asked, determination creeping into her voice. "On the road to uncovering your true self," he replied, a mixture of fear and hope reflecting in his eyes. "And we'll need to move fast. They won't wait for you to catch up." As they hurried towards the door, a startling thought crossed her mind. Could she really leave everything behind, her friends, her life? But then again, what life had she ever truly known? "Wait," she said, halting and turning to him. "What is my true name?" He paused, his expression softening for a moment before he replied with solemn seriousness, "Liliana. You're more than just Lily, you're the one they've been searching for." The weight of his words made her stomach drop. She was scared but exhilarated. The girl she used to be was slipping away, and in its place was a complex legacy she'd only begun to uncover. With a final glance at the photographs of her past, Lily took a breath, ready to step into the unknown. One question repeatedly echoed in her mind: if she was indeed designated for something greater, could she rise to the challenge? As they slipped out into the night, shrouded in shadows and uncertainty, one final thought gripped her: what would the world discover when they unveiled the truth about Liliana? The darkness wrapped around them like a heavy cloak as they stepped into the alley outside. The world felt different, every sound was amplified, every shadow seemed alive. The man glanced over his shoulder, the tension radiating off him like heat from a flame. "We need to keep moving," he urged, his tone a mix of command and fear. Lily's heart raced, pumping adrenaline through her veins. "Where are we going?" she pressed, her voice barely above a whisper. She had questions swirling in her mind, but they felt too big, too heavy to articulate. "To a safe place," he replied, his eyes darting around as if expecting someone to leap from the darkness. "You're not just running away, you're stepping towards something. There are people who need to help you reclaim your life. What if they find us?" Panic tightened her throat. The letter still felt warm in her hands, but she was enveloped in cold dread. She needed to understand everything soon, or it might crush her. "They won't find us if we keep our heads down," he assured her, moving swiftly down the narrow alleyway. The rough brick walls loomed around them, sending shivers down her spine. The smell of damp concrete filled her lungs, but the solid weight of his presence beside her gave her a hint of courage. "Why is it so urgent?" she asked, forcing her feet to keep pace. "What is so special about me?" He abruptly stopped, turning to face her, the different shades of streetlight cut across his serious face. "You possess abilities that you haven't even begun to tap into. Abilities that link you to your family's legacy. Every moment you stay in the dark, it puts you at risk, and gives them the chance to take what is rightfully yours." Lily breathed in deeply. She had survived her childhood feeling lost, searching for the pieces of a puzzle that had never quite fit together. Now she was being thrust into a world where those pieces mattered, where she mattered. But the idea of powers frightened her. "What if I can't handle it? What if I'm not ready?" "You won't know until you try," he said passionately, his eyes shining with resolve. "There's more strength inside you than you realize." His words hung between them like a spell, lifting her spirits just a fraction. But beneath that flicker of hope was a simmering question lingering in the depths of her mind: what if she couldn't rise to the challenge? What if she was just a girl, as unremarkable as she felt? "Why me?" she asked, her voice shaking slightly. "Why not someone else?" "It has to be you," he said simply, as if that answered the question. "The answers you seek lie within you. Trust me, Liliana, your legacy is waiting for you to embrace it." They stepped into the next street, where the shadows seemed to soften, fusing seamlessly with the dim, flickering lights. He kept glancing back, urgency painting his features. "What about my family? Is there a chance they're alive?" The words slipped out before she could hold them back. He paused again, a weight of sadness flickering in his eyes. "I can't promise you anything. But I can promise that there are those who are searching, just like you. You are not alone in this fight." "Then why are you helping me?" she asked, the vulnerability spilling out of her. He had stepped into her darkness so suddenly, and she didn't know why. "Because I believe in you," he said, and those simple words sent warmth flooding through her. As they turned a corner, the city lights glimmered like stars on a dark canvas, revealing a path ahead she hadn't dared to imagine. There was still uncertainty surrounding her. But now there was also a dim flicker of hope kindling in her chest. "What's the next step?" she asked, heart pounding with anticipation. How was she supposed to navigate this new direction? "First, we find a place to hide until dawn," he replied, the intensity returning. "Then we'll begin the search for answers. Everything depends on you, Liliana. Remember that." Just as the first hint of blue touched the sky, a loud sound pierced the air behind them, a crack, like a door slamming in the darkness. Lily's heart raced, fear gripping her so tightly she almost stumbled. What was that? She whispered, her body frozen in place. The man's expression hardened, fear giving way to determination. They've found us. We have to move now. As he grabbed her hand, dragging her forward, Lily felt a rush of clarity. Whatever awaited her, whoever she was meant to become, she had to be ready. Stepping into the unknown wasn't just a leap of faith. It was her destiny. And as they sprinted towards the rising dawn, one thought burned bright within her: what other secrets lingered just beyond her reach? The dawn broke over Maplewood, painting the sky with soft pastels, but for Lily and the man who guided her, it felt like a new beginning and a race against time. They veered into the labyrinth of alleyways, each step echoing louder than the last under the weight of uncertainty. The shadows shifted, cold and heavy, but they pressed on. What now? Lily's breath was ragged, a mix of fear and exhilaration coursing through her veins. With every stride, the weight of her family's legacy felt closer, yet still frustratingly out of reach. We find shelter, he replied, determination flooding his voice. Just a few more blocks to an old safe house. It's been hidden for years. The urgency in his tone pushed her forward, their footsteps synchronized, a rhythm of hope and fear intertwined. The sun's first rays peeked through the veil of darkness, casting a golden hue that felt almost magical, yet danger still loomed fresh in her mind. What about these abilities you mentioned? What do you mean? Lily asked, confusion lacing her words. The thought of powers was both thrilling and terrifying. She had only ever viewed herself as an ordinary girl. The Prescott family lineage is known for its gifts, he explained, urgency threaded with an air of mystery. You possess the potential to wield those gifts, bringing both strength and understanding. But first, we need to uncover what makes you unique. Lily nodded, feeling the flicker of courage rise in her chest. Each stride made her feel closer to the truth she had yearned for. She could almost taste the freedom, yet the hints of dread still lingered, a storm brewing inside her mind. We'll identify your capabilities once we're safe, he reassured her. But you have the heart to navigate this, Liliana. Before long, they stopped at a nondescript building with peeling paint, tucked away like an old secret. The man glanced around before guiding Lily inside. The walls whispered of history, and moth-eaten furniture stood in silent witness to time gone by. Stay close, he said quietly, leading her through a narrow hallway before stopping in a dimly lit room. This will protect you, just for now. As he turned to lock the door behind them, Lily felt an inexplicable surge within her, a pulse that resonated deep inside. Could abilities really lie dormant within her? You said my family sacrificed to keep me safe, she prompted, a resolve taking form. Then what does it mean if I don't step up? What happens when they find me? The truth will always prevail, he replied solemnly. Your discovery isn't just about you, it's about everyone affected by this struggle. The more you learn, the more capable you'll become. With her heart racing, she began to sense the possibilities. The way ahead was lined with her family's bravery, and she felt compelled to honor it, to embrace the strength meant for her. Can you teach me? She asked, her voice firm. I'm ready to learn. I won't hide anymore. A glimmer of pride sparked in his expression. That's the spirit. We have time, but it's crucial that you believe in yourself. This journey is about finding your voice. Just as the words hung in the air, the door rattled unexpectedly, sending a jolt of fear through them. Lily, they're here. He hissed, panic seeping through the walls. We must move now. She felt the adrenaline kick back in, surging through her veins. Whatever awaited them could not hold her back. What do I need to do? She asked, eyes wide with determination. Trust your instincts, he said urgently, guiding her towards a small window. We'll exert our energy together. It'll be our first step towards uncovering your true potential. Focus. Focused on the tremors of her heartbeat, Lily concentrated, feeling the ebb and flow of energy around her. With a rush, she brought out the warmth blossoming within, and suddenly, there was light, a dazzling brightness that burst forth, illuminating the room. Now. He pressed against the window, shoving it open. Leap. Without hesitation, Lily followed. The light felt so right, so powerful. It filled her, charging her as she jumped out, landing with a thud on the pavement. It felt as if the very world was in sync, the sun igniting her path like a glorified beacon. They dashed down the streets, weaving through shadows, but behind them, she could hear footsteps echoing, an ominous reminder that danger was chasing fiercely. Adrenaline surged, and all at once, she felt alive. Use the light. The man urged, and instinctively, she lifted her hands. A radiant glow burst from her fingertips, illuminating the darkened corners of their escape. Feel it. He shouted, fear replaced by awe. You're tapping into your powers. Lily's heart soared, the fear of her past washing away, replaced by a force stronger than she ever thought possible. She wasn't just running from fears anymore, she was stepping into her truth, unleashing what had been hidden away for too long. Together, they ran, never looking back, unrelenting in their focus on the future that awaited them. As they rounded a corner and hurried forward, one thought illuminated her mind, bright and buoyant. This was more than an escape, it was the beginning of her discovery, her transformation. And somewhere, in the light of her newfound power, she felt her family's strength steering her onward. The shadows might forever chase her, but with each step taken forward, they grew dimmer, while her light grew ever brighter. And as they raced towards the unknown, one resounding truth echoed within her: she was ready to embrace who she was meant to be. The past would no longer define her, the legacy of Liliana Prescott would shine instead. Now, it was her time to ignite the world around her. You need to subscribe now to witness exclusive stories like this one. Hit that bell for notifications so you never miss out. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm, every click truly matters. Comment below and share your thoughts on Lily's journey. You don't want to hold back your feelings about this ending. And share instantly with at least 5 friends who must see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to support the channel. Only true fans understand that these actions mean everything to our community.